A belting day on the Gold Coast. We're set for some more thrilling racing here on Queensland's Glitter Strip, looking back at some pretty impressive runway here where our superfoilers will soon be purring.
I'll go outside Steve here, okay? Coming up.
You in the other hand trying to push him.
All right, let's go same game plan with the start. Seems to be working pretty good.
Right, we are going to beat Nathan in this race, lads, just so you know.
Listen to that from CJ.
Someone offered us $500.
Someone who puts their money where their mouth is Jack McCartney. Jack, what's the latest?
I reckon you can expect some fireworks between the Tech 2 and the Euroflex.
Yeah,
Certainly there's a strong rivalry there, even though they were partners in crime in the Artemis Americas Cup, but that was all guns blazing, Nick.
Jack, he certainly made his thoughts clear to you there at the post-race interview. Parko did, at least, in that he wasn't sure about the interpretation of the rules. Did you get the feeling that he may lodge a protest later on? He was pumped up.
He was certainly pumped up, but I don't think he's going to lodge a protest. What happens on the water stays on the water with this racing, so it's all in good spirit, but as you can see, they're very, very serious about winning.
15 seconds to the start. You can see this port tack approach working again, so they get that longer run off the start line to the boundary.
And knock me over with the leaf test. Pavement's not in trouble for the start of this race.
No, all clear this start, Nick, and you can see ID have won the start. They've leaped out miles ahead, which is awesome to see. They're sticking to what they said. They're going to beat Nathan in this one.
That was a really bad stall. Really twisted. Yep.
Yeah, he's absolutely launched here off that line. Really good time and distance, good slingshot off the line, and he's going to be first to hit the boundary on the right, throw the tack back. There he goes.
And we hear Tech 2 call. They're going to duck behind CJ. They're going to continue going right all the way to the boundary, and record point with good speed on the upwind as well.
It's amazing to see how close these superfoilers are to each other. They're really pushing the limits. We've seen them come so far since Adelaide. Geelong just grew them in confidence, and now they're hammering these purring machines round the racetrack.
Perfect work there by Phil on record point. Euroflex having to duck. Phil got rights on starboard tack there.
So this is where we're seeing the battle at the moment between Euroflex and Record Point. Countering blows in the quest for first position here, right of way around the racetrack. And at the moment, the benefit lies with Record Point.
3, 2, 1, go.
And Team ID, they're on a bit of a runner here. They're connecting the pressures together well. On board Record Point.
And Sam Phillips, his hat's not doing much good there. He looks like a Rastafarian.
You can hear the clear communication of the skipper initiating the entry of the tack.
Record points come off the boundary here, and it's going to be really tight between them and Euroflex.
Oh, it's super tight, Jimmy. Look at that. Euroflex just squeezing out. Much to Phil Robinson's annoyance.
Phil's trying to call water on the boundary. Euroflex trying to get him on starboard.
And Jimmy, the referee's whistle's going berserk. Perhaps Jack McCartney made something of that.
Yeah, that was a little incident between Record Point and Euroflex. Record Point had right of way in terms of calling water, and Euroflex tacked in their water, in my view. So not sure if they've got a penalty or not, but I thought Record Point was in the right.
I'm sure Phil Robinson would be the first person to agree with you. Jimmy, your boys sailing well.
Here we go. It's all about this top mark rounding. You've got to absolutely blow the doors off this top mark, get it on the foils, and just rip it away.
Copy that.
Very close between these three. It looks like the pressure's lighter at the top here. Euroflex gets away cleanly.
Stand by. Yep. 2, 1, tacking.
Tech 2 tacking onto the ley line.
Euroflex has got a nice little cushion here, 7 seconds ahead of Record Point with ID 10 seconds behind. Looks a little wild on Euroflex though.
Wait forward.
Here's number 4, Tech 2. So close in our last race, they were within touching distance.
And there's not far for them to go after the bear away before they've got to do the jibe, and ID's just got inside of Record Point here as Sam pushes out on that trap, grabs the main sheet, and they're away.
Such close racing, Jimmy.
Yeah, and Tech 2's jibes there, just superior of Record Point and ID. Simo jibe on the inside, and they've just taken instantly 100 metres.
What do you want? Yeah, wait.
Sorry. Whoa. Too much negative in this one. More riding moment in this board. Positive, positive.
They want to get that windward hull to lift higher out of the water.
2, 1, driving.
Amazing core strength there from Luke Parkinson. He's a Volvo round the world sailor, and he's got amazing physical attributes.
4. Holding.
I still feel like you guys are leaving a little early.
And they're all being put to the test right now. Look how
out,
close
please.
we have 4 Superfoilers.
No wind here.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yep, just let you know.
Okay, right.
Better
Here we go,
make that
taking off.
5 because Pavement's in the picture now. Steve Thomas steaming into contention. Those boys have just leapfrogged their way into 3rd position.
4-point foiling technique they're using here.
Work our way through the track.
You know what they say, sun's out, guns out, and the boys on Euroflex are sending some missiles down the track right now. It's 130 metres plus and climbing with every second.
Driving in 5. Holding here.
It's
Holding
quite a
here.
handy lead as ID continues to cut through. They're back in 2nd
Driving
now.
in 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now.
That's Paul Campbell-James, you can hear, calling that jibe into the bottom. They've got some nice lateral separation here on the rest of the group, and Pavement and Record Point in with a tight battle in the middle of the fleet there.
Oh, mama, what a race we've got on our hands. It's our final race of the day on the Golden Gold Coast. Euroflex is ahead. Pavement, Record Point, Tech 2 and ID all very much in the mix at this stage.
Yep. Stand by jibe. 3, 2, 1, jibing.
As the teams work their way on the downwind towards the bottom mark. Not quite a foiling jibe there. You can see Euroflex, they're around the bottom, heading out to the left on the
Okay,
Stand
upwind.
by jibe.
Come on, please.
CJ on board ID, you can hear there. Still got 2 more laps up to the top mark.
And this is where we keep seeing these big gains and losses. Bottom of the track, getting in and out of this bottom gate. If you go down speed, you just get sucked back upwind. And a good split.
Record Point opting to round the left mark instead of going round the outside of Pavement, and ID here.
Okay, rounding up in 3, 2, 1. Now.
Also rounding the left bottom mark.
Leave the board down. Tacking in 3.
Perfect rounding there by ID, coming in really fast, just whipping it around that buoy, and see how much distance they took out.
Jimmy, usually it's Tech 2 that's the most frenzied, but it seems like ID are dialing up the excitement so far in this race.
Board's cleated. Nice rounding, guys.
It's coming, it's all good. Twist. Twist.
Amazing to see them round the same time. They've both split to different sides of the course, and it looks like Pavement's gone the better way. They're going to cross in front.
Finally, some luck there for the Sydney to Hobart winner, Steve Thomas. Pavement's got one right, and they're into 2nd position behind Euroflex.
3, 2, 1. Go.
And ID have reached the boundary. They're going through attack now. All of the teams out there are trying to sail as far as they can, and you can see Record Point are a bit further up the course, so they can go a little more distance before they make their tack on the boundary, come back to the middle of the course, and so close racing here. Oh, a bit too much pressure on the exit of the tack there, just causing them to heel over, but good save. Sam's just got to run in, get the main sheet, get back out on the wire, and they'll be away.
And we can see that ID Intranet, Paul Campbell-James, is exploiting that mistake. They're in 3rd position, putting metres onto Record Point, who currently sit 4th. This is great racing across the board here as we get a wider look at how the racetrack is panning out as Pavement makes its way past our VIP spectator vessel, who've got a bird's eye view of this thrilling battle.
Okay, tacking in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
So Tech 2 bouncing off that boundary, ID tacking in sync with them, trying to give that bad air. Here we go, Euroflex once again at the top mark.
Bad air, but not a bad seat in the house for Euroflex dialing it in. Jack, you're on the water. What are you making of this race? It seems to me one of the best skirmishes we've had today.
Yeah, Nick, this is the best race of the series so far, I think. I think you're seeing 2, 3, 4 very, very close together, and 5. So really, really tight racing. You can see everyone's on a steep learning curve, and the gap between them and Euroflex is getting smaller and smaller each manoeuvre.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, don't make attack. Tapping, go now.
Way across it. Let's go, race out the way.
Leave the board, leave the board. Yes. Put some negative on it, please.
There's going to be some hoarse voices in the boat park tonight. There's been a lot of screaming today on the race course.
Okay,
Interesting there, ID had Pavement on starboard, made them tack and then immediately split. Classic match racing move, and you can see how much distance they've pulled out.
An intense tactical move from ID there. They had the edge on that starboard ley line, forcing Pavement to tack, and have just made up great distance.
Cleated. Stand by taking off.
On, lift on.
It was a great manoeuvre, that one, and now Pavement's in third.
Little weight out. Lock.
But there's nothing between second, third and fourth.
Stand by, turning, go tight.
Here we go, who can do the foiling job?
1. 5 meters.
Pavement smoked a really good one there as Tech 2 crashes off the foils. Record Point on the inside. Awesome job by Record Point getting through there.
Tess, it's amazing to see how one tiny little mistake can shift the racing completely.
Oh, it is, Nick, and there's such a balance between pushing the boat all the way to the boundary and jibing in time to stay with the pressure. And you can see Pavement there, they saw pressure on the inside, so they jibed early and they've made a nice gain on the run here. ID and Record Point pushing it hard out to the ley line. The 200 piece and the 4-point foiling seems to be working well here. They're making good distance downwind.
2. Driving, Aiden.
1.
Still a lot of current out here on the course, Nick. You can see it's taking them a long time to get downwind because they're sailing against the current.
It's incredible to watch. This really is one of the most fiercely contested little tete-a-tetes we've had so far.
Lovely. One more jib on Eddie, please. Nice, good work.
Looks like right angle. Okay, happy. Stand by, 2, 1, and rolling.
Sometimes you get a bit of momentum and you can just keep connecting the dots together and get a nice jump on the group, and that's exactly what Pavement have done on this downwind.
Driving, never got going there.
And hearing from Luke Parkinson, the skipper on Tech 2, they're hardly able to string it together for this particular race. Maybe they're still shell-shocked after the last finish.
Okay, sheet on now, Fangy, a little bit. On. Go left, Eddie, please. Max left, please.
And everyone's closed in on Euroflex. Their lead has been gobbled up.
Now we've got one more upwind and downwind to the finish. So this is our last bottom mark rounding before the final lap, as Euroflex is still in the lead. They're going to round the right mark at the bottom here. We're going to see the fleet converge as they all approach the bottom gate. It'll be up to who picks the ley line the best and who comes in with the most pressure.
Stand by. 2.
Got any more?
Yeah, so nothing in it here, and you can see that they're not in very good pressure. They're in a lull, they're not up and foiling, so if Pavement can flick out to the right-hand side of the track, they might pick up some different breeze that suddenly it'll be out of Euroflex's control.
And Pavement, they're going to round the right mark as well. A little bit down speed there.
That's my
Really
now
coming up. Stand by, drive. 2, 1, driving.
So it's Tech 2 and Record Point eyeing each other out.
See them.
If you can pick the ley line from distance out and come in on a hot angle with lots of speed, you're going to just make so much distance on the group.
Copy.
driving in 3.
Oh, there's not much room here.
And ID have got inside rights, but it's too hard to make that tight turn, so Record Point have got room to go in there.
Inside, Schminside, this is going to be close.
Hey! Big mains. I need room, wait in!
I have a post there!
Two tacks here, lads. Two. Yeah, wait up though.
Now you can hear the intensity on record point.
Main on, come on, back to Joe. Main on, back.
Phil couldn't see ID, and ID couldn't see Phil.
Hang on, hold. Oh, we can't, they had a penalty.
And it looks like record point have been inflicted with the penalty. They're doing their turns or they've stalled up.
Painful stuff there for record point. Tough situation. You can hear that Phil is getting frustrated. That's really got to him, but he's got a piece of Tech 2 here to get one back.
Tech 2 have stayed out of the action and they're in good pressure there, so still in such a close battle. Clean made on the downwind to the bottom marks, flying through the screen. Calling for a speed build.
As we see this again, Tess, it was a gutsy move for Paul Campbell-James to flick it round, but the boys on record point just held course. They kept going. They had nowhere to go. That's the reality, and unfortunately, Ed Powey's spinal cord had nowhere to go. It got a nice close-up inspection with the port float there.
Yeah, Nick, record point didn't have any inside rights, but because of the wide turn made by ID, they sent it in there.
Big mains. I need room, wait in! Come on! I have a post there!
That post was not going anywhere, neither was record point. They'll still be going for glory on the other side of this. That hiss, that hum, the roar of the SuperFoiler at full flight. This is our race leader, our series leader. The Euroflex boys absolutely screaming. Further back, we've got a race for second and third, fourth even. It's close quarters.
So push past record point here if we can. Okay, ducking. Sheet on hard, please. Nice work, boys.
Paul Campbell-James on ID really starting to throw down some intensity on this racetrack.
And they've still been able to make the top mark with that bear away, and Tech 2 sending it in. They've got good pace for the rounding. Close racing here. And as we have a look at that again, record point was on starboard. They had rights there, so ID had to duck behind.
Sheet on hard, please.
Bear away into that power zone. Oh, crew hit the water.
Tech 2 crash off the foils. Phil Robertson at record point sneaks through the inside. Awesome foiling job by record point. That's going to convert to about 50 or 100 metres. Okay.
As it stands, Jimmy, about 50 metres between third, fourth and fifth.
Copy.
And Pavement here comfortably held on to second.
Stand by. 2, 1, and going.
An eventful two opening races here on the Gold Coast for Steve Thomas on Pavement. And after some early calamities, all of a sudden things starting to go to plan as we see Euroflex rounding the marker. They're called the Dream Team and they're making it look like a dream, these three. Nathan Outteridge, Ian Jensen, Glenn Ashby, Ronaldo, Messi, Maradona, all on one SuperFoiler. These guys are the best in the business and they're putting on a dream outing right now. Look at them go. Pavement can barely see them anymore.
I think we're going to go late.
So close out there, you know. We can see they actually are touching each other's boats at times, and ID getting stuck in the lull on the left of your screen there. Really just glued to the water, can't get going, and record point Tech 2 are just legged out here.
Yep. And 2, 1, go.
They're approaching the bottom mark rounding for the last time in this race. Then they'll sail back upwind to the top mark and then downwind through the finish.
Yeah, we will. Let's go max negative now.
Lockie Gilmore, it's his first weekend on Pavement and he's eyeing off a second place finish. He'll be thinking this superfoiling stuff isn't too bad at all. And this is a gorgeous shot looking across to Pavement now.
Just on the boundary.
Everyone's got the hang of the current here, Nick. They know that they've got to give that bottom mark a bit of a wide curve to get around.
And our drone operator, Tess, has the hang of the breeze that Steve was chasing. Is floating across Pavement as we see Tech 2 and record point float forward.
Here we go. So Phil has rights. Tech 2 can't jibe into them until Phil lets them.
3, 2, go. 1, driving, got to lead this.
Record Point leading into the jibe. Tech 2 following. We've got a simultaneous jibe happening between these two.
It's a beautifully choreographed set play there. It's like watching the Nutcracker unfold here on the Gold Coast.
Wait in. Forwards, gliding to left mark.
Parker opting left mark, Record Point splitting, going right mark.
1,
Here we go, here we go.
We've got a split here. Record Point going left. Tech 2 heading out to the right.
What have you done here? Okay, I won't. Just leave it. Jib on, please.
Phil Robertson staying out of play.
Prefer jib first. Okay, bow's coming down, here we go.
But I'd highly encourage the Kiwi to tell Sam how to put a helmet on.
I want you to get going first. And we'll see how we go. I'd love to get down to that buoy, but I don't think it's going to happen.
And ID, I wonder if they've had damage to their foils from hitting the top mark.
Potentially, Tess. They were in the lead at one stage, but now there's no doubt who the leader is. It's Euroflex, undefeated so far, as we see ID limping towards those gates.
Ed Powers working hard to pull up that windward foil as they round the bottom. You can see the wind's shifted right. They might make it to the right-hand side of this spit post they've all been avoiding.
Yeah, amazing here, and I think Pavement are eating into that Euroflex lead. Doing really well here. I think Euroflex has just struggled. I think there's bigger lulls out on the racetrack appearing, and more places just get caught out. Pavement definitely catching up to Euroflex here.
You can see a really distinct current line working at the top of the course. So around the top mark, there's some sort of change happening in the current that the teams would need to be adapting to. And they're on their final downwind now.
Above green.
And Jimmy, you're absolutely right. Pavement has closed the gap. Steve Thomas with a little bit of a look in here.
Stand by. 2, 1. Attacking.
And the Rainbow rocket ship would be loving the chance to steal some glory here on the Gold Coast, prospecting for a nugget or two.
They've done the hard work now. It's just about holding on and playing it safe.
Bearing it 2, 1, bearing now.
Pavement just keeping it sensible, nothing too extreme. Keep the pointy end up in the sky, get her to the finish.
You're out.
East jib. Yeah.
You can sail a more conservative mode.
Well, conservative's not a word I'd use for Tech 2, anything but for these boys.
Killer. Mine, yours.
Two boats on starboard here on different legs of the course. Pavement sending it down to the finish.
Good work, boys.
Excellent speed from the Pavement boys. They're really starting to soar as Tech 2 dig in as well.
A close crossing here between Record Point, Tech 2.
2, 1. Attacking. Best thing we can do is slow them down there.
So Tech 2 had to sail past the line of Record Point to be clear before they tacked.
And stand by Tremont. Can't see the mark. We're good.
And Luke Parkinson even conceding all he could do was slow down Record Point.
Stand by jibe. Hang on. 3, 2, 1. Jibing.
But it doesn't look like he slowed her down too much, although perhaps just enough, because she edges in front now, Tech 2, as Sam gets a wedgie on the way down.
You okay, Sam?
And this is the winning moment for Euroflex. So far, their winning record in the Gold Coast is intact. Somebody stop them. Nobody can so far. Their unblemished run endures.
Swing.
Big high five on board there. They've got to be happy with that. Clean sweep. They've won every race, Nick.
No doubt about it, Tess. Their hands will be getting sore from all those high fives. They'll be calloused from the enthusiasm as we see Record Point has leapfrogged Tech 2 and is starting to turn the knife.
We've got a jibing battle going on here between Record Point and Tech 2, and Record Point initiates the jibe and far out.
Oh man, overboard on Record Point. That's Neil Hunter, the bowman. Tech 2, fly behind. That could be an overtake.
And I hope that Neil Hunter's okay on board Record Point. That would have been a hard impact, hitting the front bar and swinging around the front like that. So let's just hope that he's all okay. And Pavement about to cross the finish line in second. They've had a great result this race. Well done, boys.
Well, guys. Good end. Good racing. The 4 point upwind. She's good for heaves.
High spirits there on Pavement as we review the moment. It all went wrong for Record Point. Neil Hunter there, the Flying Scotsman, whack onto the side of the main there. That would have really hurt as we take another look, because one's never gruesome enough. Whooshka, there he is, into the side. He's all right, he's still racing, and Record Point still closing in on the points here.
That's what it is. That's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just good luck. Good call, thank you.
I can just feel it, eh?
They've figured out a technique in the jibes. It seems to be working for them. Two crew going through in front of the mast, keeping their weight forward.
Good here.
Record Point steaming in now, but it looks to be a case of not enough runway.
Smashed him on that downwind. Copy that.
A bit of bad luck on board Record Point there with that round up after the jibe.
It's definitely what it is in the jibe. I lost me bloody foam. It's out of my helmet. And the bloody tiller extension came untied. It was getting stuck.
Bit of ventriloquism there.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard Luke Parkinson put his foot in it, but he's put something else in it just there. As Record Point, they're going to take fourth, and Sam's going to take a long, hard look at his hairstyle as far as, there we go, Sam, good boy. Finish the racing, better secure the helmet. Really sensible stuff there, excellent.
Just have a look at ID there. We did fight well that race, guys. We didn't sail that great, that one, but I think we learnt a lot.
Yeah,
With, you know?
that down speed on.
Yeah.
Maybe this race isn't over yet to see who gets the wooden spoon here in this race, but Cleanmade opting for an early jibe. CJ will be happy with that, getting a big split. He's still pulling down that boundary.
Tess, what on earth happened to ID? They were in first, they're now fighting for last.
Yeah, Nick, I'm thinking they've got some damage to their foil. You can see in this view here along the trailing edge, it's quite damaged right down there along the waterline, which would make it hard for them to lift it up and down inside the hull.
Okay, jump back.
Yeah, ID having a super tough regatta this week. Just not going their way. A lot of depth of talent on that boat, and I'm sure they'll regroup. They'll come out firing for the double points tomorrow, but...
Well, something wrong with these foils.
Paul Campbell-James going the old tradesman, looking for what's wrong with the tools trick there, and it probably is the foils, I would imagine, as Cleanmade rounded out. Olivia Price, the London Olympics silver medalist, Josh McKnight, a world champion, Harry Morton, a world champion. So much pedigree on the Cleanmade, and 6th position for them on the Gold Coast. That will really sting. Expect bigger things from them as we check out race 6, how it unfolded. 23 minutes 38 the winning time from Euroflex, ahead of Pavement, Tech 2, Record Point, ID and Cleanmade. How does that stack up across the regatta? Well, we can see Euroflex 6 from 6, Tech 2 and Record Point level on points ahead of Cleanmade, ID and Pavement. And Jack is with one of the victorious sailors.
So Glenn, another 3 wins, mate. That's 21 in a row. How are they going to beat you?
Oh, look, it's, you know, everyone's still, as we keep saying, you know, learning plenty every time you go out. We're learning plenty every time we go out, so it's just going to be a matter of time, I think, before we get knocked off. But some fantastic racing and, you know, just absolutely awesome fun.
So that was probably the best racing I've seen in the series so far. That was very tight between 2nd to 5th, and you were pushed really hard by Tech 2. What do you think?
Yeah, look, they're sailing the boat really well. They're sort of a little bit hot and cold. When they're on, they're absolutely on, and they're almost unstoppable. But, you know, they're just the consistency for those guys, I think, was probably just lacking a little bit overall for the day. But they're coming, as are the others. So, no, we've got to absolutely sail our best to make sure we stay in front, and everyone's learning plenty. So it's going to be exciting, and tomorrow's another big day.
Thank you, Glennie. Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, mate.
Shane Warne and Glenn Ashby, two massive Zinc fans here. We're a huge fan of the Gold Coast. We've loved the racing. There's more coming up tomorrow and even more build-up as we get ready for the Express SuperFoiler Grand Final coming up in Sydney. Things are building nicely. On behalf of Tess, Jimmy, Jack and myself, we hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll see you tomorrow.